Hi, my name is Phebe, and welcome to my channel. Welcome to another series of talking about my dad. Today's episode is titled "Is Growing Up Years." So the story continues. The white men brought primary school to the villages, and it was time for children in the villages were registering to start. But there was a criteria. You have to first of all measure if your hand you measure your hand this way, and if your hand can reach the other side, your other here in the opposite side, then you'll be allowed to start school. So my dad's hand couldn't reach his opposite here, but his brother's own reached. So his brother started school, but he wasn't allowed to start school. But he loved school. Even though it was a new phenomenon for him at that time, he loved school. So when his brother is going to school, he will follow him at the back. When they got to the school, his brother will enter the class, he would stay outside, and he will stay from the beginning to the end listening to the lectures. Yes. So one day the teacher threw a question to the class, and nobody could answer it except my dad, who was not even part of the class, because nobody raised up their hand. So it was only my dad that raised up his hand. So the teacher was like, okay, since you're the only one who raised up your hand, let me hear what you have to say. So he answered the question correctly and perfectly, and the teacher was like, so what have you been doing outside all this while? That was how he started school, even before meeting the requirements. So he continued school, finished primary school, was the qualifying exams for secondary school, but he did not he passed it. He passed it, and in their village there was just two of them who passed the qualifying exams for secondary school. And secondary school then wasn't free. Primary school was free, but secondary school wasn't free, so you have to pay some amount of money. And so when he took his results and went to meet his dad, that's okay, I've passed the next stage, but we'll need money for me to further and everything. His dad was like, he does not have money to give to him, or that there was no money. So that's how he missed the opportunity to go to secondary school. So he stayed in the village a while. Then his father was not like, what's next? What next is going to happen to him? Himself and his dad discussed what next for him. So he brought up this idea of him going to learn a trade in the city. And the person he chose to learn the trade was from his maternal side, his uncle from his maternal family. So he prepared himself and then went to the city to learn the trade. And the trade they chose for him to learn was clock making and clock repairing. So he learned the trade, but I don't remember the exact number of years he learned it for, but it was less than 5 years. So after learning it, and it was time for his oga to settle him. When I say settle, I mean the usual thing is when somebody comes to learn a trade from you, if the person is true, you're supposed to give the person money to go and start his own business. So he came to meet his oga to settle him, but the oga was like, the oga said it's not going to settle him, it's not going to pay him anything. And he was like, okay, what did I do? Why won't you pay me? He said he broke his clock some years back, so he's not going to pay him. And that was his payment. And how he broke the clock was even another story entirely. Is Oga and the wife always quarreled, but the man didn't like to quarrel with the wife, but the wife was always the one trying to stir up arguments with her husband. So he now developed a plan to avoid the arguments, because the woman would always bring up the argument when her husband is about to go to work. She would always bring up arguments with him when he's about to go to work. So when he noticed the pattern, he now made an arrangement with my dad. He would be semi-dressed for work, and then walk out casually, like as if he's just going to buy something outside, he's coming back. When he just goes out, my dad's duty was to bring out his shirt, throw it to him outside, and then he climbs on his bicycle and zooms off. So that's the pattern they've been doing, avoiding the wife's argument, avoiding fighting with the wife. So that day, my dad, because just before the wife, maybe she just said, let her go and get something inside. That's the time he zooms out. He would, my dad would quickly pull out the shirt from where it's hanging and throw it to this Oga. But as he was trying to quickly, pull out the shirt, the clock beside the shirt fell down, and his Oga was not saying that was his payment. So that's some years gone. Okay, so my dad packed his things and went back to the village to discuss with his father on what next. So this is one of the reasons why my father's life inspires me, because 5 years was just gone, or almost 5 years was just gone, learning a trade. And most people, if you've ever been through something like that, or you've seen somebody who has had to learn a trade, the usual thing is to pay the person for the person to start his own learning. Now, if that money is not paid, it's really a big setback to the person. But most family don't have issues. So yeah, there are some dubious guys that will be like, I'm not going to pay you, to give a flimsy reason, like how my dad's Oga did. And most of them, the parents might go quarreling and stuff, because their the years their child wasted with you cannot be gotten back. But most times, if that money is not paid, it usually is a big setback. But this time my grandfather coming to make trouble with the man, he just collected the son back and did not even go to meet the man. And so they sat down again and like, okay, what next for him? So they discussed. While he was staying in the village, when he was in the village, an opportunity for him to travel to Ghana to work came. So he discussed with his father. His father accepted for him to go. And then he went. So the job opportunity he got was to be a barman at, of course, a bar in Ghana. So he was selling, and he started the job, and there was a regular customer there. Now when I say a regular customer, then I say when somebody is a regular customer at a bar, definitely the person is a drunkard. So he said the man was a drunkard. He would come every day, drink himself to stupor, stammer around and go find his way back home, come the next day again, and every day. And sometimes when the man is saying he wish, come to talk with my dad, ask questions, what have you started? So because of his regularity at the bar, he now found out that my dad was an intelligent man. And so every time after he drinks, he will come and meet him and say, leaving us, what are you doing here? You're a bright and intelligent boy, you're wasting your life here. Come on. You're wasting your life here. Come on, go back to school. Leaving us, go back to school. And of course my father was, pushing his water like it's the words of a drunk man. But every day the man will come and nag him. Leaving us, go back to school. Leaving us, go back to school. Leaving us, go back. One day my father decided to listen to him. But you know the irony of it all? It was actually saving money he was actually saving money to use as capital for his clock business. That was what he was saving the money for, because as he was working he was saving. That was the motive, that was his initial motive for working and saving. But this man came and brought a new idea to him. Go back to school. And then school is something that he has forgotten about. He had given up hope on never going back to school. After he lost the opportunity to go to secondary school, he just gave up on going to school, and suddenly somebody was bringing up the idea to him. So he decided to pay attention to the man. He went to meet the manager of the bar. That okay, he wants to go back. He thinks he has saved enough money. He wants to go back to the village. He wants to go back to Nigeria rather. So he collected the money and then went back to Nigeria, and then discussed with his father again, and they went to technical school. And then technical school he learned how to type. He went to the type, and then he learned how to typing on shorthand. And my dad could, his certificate has that's with shorthand though. I think between 40 to 50 words per minute. That's how fast my dad can type. So, and then from there he got a job, and then from there he was writing professional courses. He did ACCA and became a chartered accountant. Did I think automatically you have ICANN if you are through if you have ACCA, and so that's how he started climbing the ladder. And he was climbing the ladder, and he became an administrator. Doing more professional courses, he became an administrator. So it's in this period that I say that my dad's life inspires me. Yes, he had a bit of setback, but eventually he got to where God said he would get. You can imagine somebody who already gave up schooling and was already like, okay, his destiny is to be a clock repairer, and see how God just used a drunk man to set him back on track. So God works in mysterious ways. It is wonders to perform. God can use anybody. Can even use a madman to speak to you. Can use anybody to speak to you. So if you feel that, I'm even speaking to myself too, if you feel that your life has gone off track, just hold on to God. Eventually, so far you do not give up on God, you will get back on track. It may seem like as if your life is off track right now. You are on track, don't worry. So far you are holding on to God, you are on track. Because one of the attributes of an interesting story is a story with intrigue. And what is intrigue? Twists and turns. Any story that is just straight, Johnny was born, Johnny went to school, Johnny, no challenges, no nothing. This story is not going to be interesting. Many of us watch movies and we read stories, and the fun in the story, it's the intrigue, the setbacks, the challenge. That is what makes a good story. So the master storyteller, the master story writer is the one. If he's the one writing your story, then you have no problem. Despite your setback and everything, you do not have a problem. So thank you for watching. I'm going to continue the next episode, which is ministry and marriage. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Till the next episode. Bye.